Welcome to our coverage of the 2021 California gubernatorial recall election of California Governor Gavin Newsom, first elected in 2018 after 8 years of being Jerry Brown's lieutenant governor. Gavin Newsom defeated John Cox in a landslide in 2018 to win his spot in the governor's mansion. However, just less than 3 years later, he now faces the toughest challenge in his political career so far, as he has to fend off both Democrats and Republicans vying to take his position, the top job in the state of California, the largest state in the union. Gavin Newsom has been fighting for survival over the last couple of months, and tonight we'll see whether or not his efforts have paid off and whether or not he will be recalled as governor of the state of California. And before polls close here at 8 p.m. on the West Coast, we'll take a look at the current approval rating of Governor Gavin Newsom, which sits at 53.3%, so a positive approval rating currently for the governor of California, while he currently holds a 44.2% disapproval rating. And as you can see here, he's getting most of his support from the West Coast, that coastal region, especially the San Francisco Bay Area and Los Angeles, while in the Central Valley inland areas, in the Sierra Nevada areas of the state of California, he is vastly disapproved of in this greatly Democratic state. The state of California has a huge partisan lean towards the Democratic Party, so its 53.3% approval rating vastly underperforms what should be expected of a governor of such a blue state. And comparing that to his 2018 results, which we'll take a look at in just a moment here, these numbers are not the best for the California governor. However, he currently is viewed favorably by a majority of Californians, which is a good sign for this recall effort. His approval rating has been peaking as of right now, right before this recall effort. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not his 53% of Californian supporters can come out for him tonight. And as I said, in 2018, California Governor Gavin Newsom defeated John Cox soundly with 61.9% of the votes to Cox's 38.1%. This was one of the largest victories in California history for a governor. He was able to win all across the West Coast and even many eastern areas in the state. 61.9%. That was a huge margin, larger than both of Jerry Brown's elections in 2010 and 2014. However, for Gavin Newsom, he is not going to be seeing these types of numbers tonight. He will not get anywhere close to 60% of support from the Golden State. So Gavin Newsom right now, 61.9%. That is not going to happen. However, these results point to the fact that he will have to fall by quite a bit if he were to be recalled tonight. And of course, this is the second recall election in California's history, with the first being in 2003, when former Governor Gray Davis was removed. 61.9% of Californian voters at the time voted to remove Governor Davis, while just 38.1% voted to keep him in office. As you can see here, for the Democratic governor, of course, getting his support from those western regions of Los Angeles and San Francisco, while the other areas in the state, the eastern areas, everywhere past the coastline, they all voted to remove Governor Davis in 2003. However, the state has shifted massively to the left. The partisan lead is much greater now for the Democratic Party than it was in 2003. However, 2003, we did see also much stronger replacement candidates in Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was eventually elected governor of the state of California in this recall election, defeating Cruz Bustamante, who'd go on to become Schwarzenegger's lieutenant governor, he was also the lieutenant governor to Gray Davis before his ousting. So in 2003, this was a big win for the Republican Party, the last time the Republicans won the governorship in the state of California. So Arnold Schwarzenegger would go on to win re-election, but this just proves that these recall elections can succeed, and Gray Davis is a great example of what could happen to Gavin Newsom tonight. So Arnold Schwarzenegger won 48.6% of the votes. These replacement candidates do not need a majority of supporters. They only need a plurality of replacement votes. However, the incumbent governor does need a majority of voters to vote to keep them in office. So this will be an uphill climb for Gavin Newsom, but as of right now, things are looking a little bit favorable for him. But we'll definitely update you guys on the results of this race as polls close in just a couple of moments here. It is now 8 p.m. here on the West Coast, and we have our poll closing from the state of California for the recall election of Governor Gavin Newsom. For our first returns here, as you can see, the vote whether or not to recall Gavin Newsom currently sits at 57.4% of voters voting to keep the incumbent governor, to 42.6% voting to remove Governor Gavin Newsom, and this is with 16% of the estimated votes in. And on this map here, as you can see, still many counties that are left to report any results. However, many of these votes currently coming in are from those coastal regions of LA and San Francisco. So Gavin Newsom right now in a very good position with 16% of the votes in. The race is very early and it is currently too early to call whether or not Gavin Newsom will be recalled tonight. For the replacement candidates, as expected, Larry Elder does lead with 29.3% of votes so far, crossing 600,000 votes. He is followed by Kevin Paffrath at 28.7%, so a very close second place. Kevin Faulconer at 12.3%. Kevin Faulconer is the former governor, or the former mayor of the city of San Diego. Kevin Paffrath is a social media influencer. Larry Elder, of course, a conservative talk show host. And finally, we have John Cox, a businessman, and of course, the 2018 Republican nominee for governor, who of course lost in that landslide to Governor Gavin Newsom. Out of these top 4 candidates, only one is a Democrat, that being Paffrath, while the other 3 are all major Republicans in this race, splitting that conservative vote. And on our map, as you can see, same thing here, the western regions all voting for Paffrath, while the eastern regions all going for the numerous Republican states. Kevin Faulconer doing very well in his home city of San Diego. And it is now 9:30 p.m. on the West Coast, and we have a race update for the California gubernatorial recall election in the Golden State. For the vote on the recall, as of right now, the vote to keep Gavin Newsom sits at 52.4%, while the vote to remove Gavin Newsom and voting yes on this recall effort sits at 47.6%, and this is with a majority of votes in 54%. And over the last couple of hours, we've seen the numbers just getting worse and worse for Governor Newsom. He was at 57% when the polls closed, and now he's down to 52.4%. He must pray that these numbers do not get worse for him, or else he will be dangerously close to being recalled. And on our map, as you can see here, we now have results from every single county. A majority of votes in. Gavin Newsom's numbers are slipping. He is still receiving a lot of support from those West Coast counties. However, from the East and the Central Valley, he is doing very, very poorly, severely underperforming as of right now, 54% of the votes total. And with this, this does come into question whether or not these replacement candidates do stand a chance to become the next governor of California. And with these results, we've seen a massive shift in favor of the conservatives as well, with Larry Elder up at 35.5%. That's an almost 6% jump from what we saw at poll closing time. And for Kevin Paffrath, he is now at 25.9%. In third place, Kevin Faulconer still 10.1%. He did drop around 2%. And John Cox staying even, relatively even there at 7.2% of the votes as of right now, with 54% of precincts reporting. And on our map, as you can see here, Paffrath doing very well in the San Francisco and LA areas, but the Republicans are dominating elsewhere. Larry Elder right now is poised to be the next governor of California if Gavin Newsom does fail this recall. It is now 12:40 in the morning Pacific time, and we have a major projection to make, and that is in the California gubernatorial recall election of Gavin Newsom. The projection that we can currently make is that Gavin Newsom has survived this recall attempt. He has defeated his recall, and Gavin Newsom will continue to serve as governor of the state of California until his re-election in 2022. So this will be a hold for the Democratic Party in the state of California. Gavin Newsom will continue to serve as the governor of the Golden State. And this comes after we've seen almost 9 in 10 votes having been counted. As of right now, the vote to keep Gavin Newsom stands at 54.3%. These numbers have been consistently rising over the last couple of hours. For the yes votes to remove Newsom, they currently stand at 45.7%, and this is all with 89% of estimated votes having been counted. So 54 to 45, a pretty good margin for the current governor. Of course, nowhere near his numbers that he saw in 2018, but these are pretty close to his current current approval rating, and Gavin Newsom right now 54.3%. You should be very happy about this. He has survived this challenge to his governorship, and he will remain governor of the largest state in the country, getting most of his support from, of course, those western areas, while those eastern areas are still voting in huge swarms to remove the governor. But as of right now, it seems as if it's pretty clear Gavin Newsom will remain governor of California. And this makes it so that these other recall candidates are irrelevant in this race. However, Larry Elder does lead right now with 38.5%, over 4 million votes for him. Kevin Paffrath, 28.2%, Kevin Faulconer, 8.4%, and John Cox sitting at 6.7%. So none of these candidates are going to become governor of California unless Newsom does somehow lose this race. But as of right now, Gavin Newsom does defeat this recall. However, Larry Elder has won a plurality of votes. We can project that he will win in the replacement ballot category, but that does not mean anything in this circumstance, as Newsom has defeated his recall effort. And on the West Coast, it is now 2:56 in the morning, almost 6 in the morning on the East Coast. However, we now have a crucial race update, as we can now project the final results for the 2021 California recall election of Gavin Newsom, as we have now 100% of precincts reporting. And with 100% of votes having been counted, Gavin Newsom received 54.1% of votes in favor of keeping him as governor of California, while a total of 45.9% of Californians voted to remove the governor, and this with 100% of votes having been counted. Over 7 million ballots having been cast in favor of Gavin Newsom to almost 6 million against the current governor. So Gavin Newsom, of course, is very lucky to survive this recall effort. And on the map, as you can see, this is the finalized version of the county map in California. Of course, most of its support, almost all of his support, coming from LA and San Francisco. But this is a very strong victory for the Democratic Party. Definitely much better than what the polls had predicted. Newsom was actually underwater for a while, just weeks before coming into this election. But Gavin Newsom has not been recalled. He has defeated the recall effort and will remain governor of California. And although none of these replacement candidates are going to become the next governor, the results for the replacement candidates are as follows. Larry Elder with 38.1%, almost reaching that 5 million vote threshold. For Kevin Paffrath, 28.3% at 3.6 million votes. Kevin Faulconer has crossed 1 million votes at 8.2%, and John Cox came in second in 2018, now comes in fourth place with 6.7% of the votes and almost 900,000 votes for him. So in this recall election, it's been a failure for those supporting this recall, but a huge success for the Democratic Party in California after the huge efforts they've made to save Gavin Newsom. But there it is, the map on your right. Larry Elder 38.1, Paffrath 28.2. This is a win for Larry Elder. He did destroy the competition here. However, he will not become the next governor of California, as Gavin Newsom will remain in office. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like it down below if you enjoyed it. Comment down below whether or not you think Gavin Newsom will be recalled. Subscribe to my channel if you have not. I will be streaming the recall on the 14th of September, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Again, I'll be streaming the recall election as the results come in. This is not my final prediction. I'll make one in the coming days. However, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.